Hi, my name is David Rippy. I am a certified hypnotherapist. This is the chapter, Israelite Man Knows Jesus, in my book, Meeting Jesus. Enjoy.
Israelite Man Knows Jesus. This client is an older woman in her early 70s. After taking her into a deep superconscious state, she recalled details of an ancient life with great clarity. She shared that she has had multiple dreams with Jesus present, where she saw herself preaching. She wanted to explore these dreams more in depth, and to find out under hypnosis if she had a past life where Jesus was present. I left out the hypnotic induction as it mirrors others. David, you feel you are a 40-year-old male living in Israel, based on the images you are seeing. Did you have a lot of friends or family in that life? Subject, I was a loner. David, you were a loner. Did you ever get married? Subject, no. David, keep relaxing. I want you to drift down deeper and deeper, and try to recover thoughts or memories of that life. In your mind, do you feel that you knew Jesus in a past life? Subject, yes. David, did he have others with him? Subject, no. David, he was by himself and he came to see you at your death in that life, based on your dreams. Is that correct? Subject, yes, I feel like I died of a heart attack in that life. David, let's go right to your moment of death. Allow your mind to relax and you'll start to see the images of that life become clearer and clearer. Did you see yourself come out of your body at death? Subject, no, I saw myself fall over on this dirt road. David, you saw yourself fall over on a dirt road. Were you in your body when you hit the dirt, or did you feel yourself coming out at almost the same time? Subject, I didn't feel anything. I just felt this love from Jesus. David, so when you fell on the dirt road, you felt Jesus was there instantaneously. Subject, yes. David, you felt comforted by that. Subject, yes. David, you felt his love, and because you were out there preaching his message, you feel he came to you. Is that right? Subject, yes. David, do you think this is one of the reasons he came? Subject, yes. And the people were against me in the market square. David, did you find yourself traveling around to other villages? What do you remember? Subject, I just remember going to that village and preaching about Jesus. And there was an old woman there in black clothes with a headpiece, and she was very strong in the village, and she told them to listen to me, that I knew what I was preaching, and they quieted down. David, wow. Look at the crowd. Can you see them? Subject, yes. David, how many are in the crowd? Subject, a lot. 100. David, 100 people, and you are preaching in the market square. Subject, yes. David, look at the buildings. What do they look like to you? Subject, they are like tents, inaudible. They have a covering in the front and are more square-shaped. David, oh, so they are not a solid structure with walls. They just have a covering. Subject, yes. David, do you see animals? Subject, yes, I can't make them out, but there are animals walking around. David, can you hear them? Subject, yes, they are making noises. David, what do the noises sound like? Subject, like a sheep. David, how was the weather? Subject, it was hot. David, if you had to pick a time of year, what time of year would it be? What season? Subject, I just know it was hot. David, I want you to walk around the village. Are there any structures in this village that you might have lived in? As you're observing, do any structures feel familiar to you that you are associated with? Subject, no. They are selling stuff. Inaudible. David, what are they selling? Subject, potteries. David, you see pottery. What else are they selling? Subject, vegetables and fish. David, thinking back, was that the village where you lived, or were you visiting? Subject, no, my home was away. David, how far away was your home? Subject, about 10 miles. David, about 10 miles away. How would you get there? Subject, I would walk. David, was it dusty and sandy out there? Subject, yes. David, did you walk with others that would help you? Subject, no. I was a loner. David, how did you first learn of Jesus and his message? Subject, I don't know. Pause. I was taught, but I don't know who taught me. David, you don't see your parents involved? Subject, I don't see my parents at all. David, were you an orphan? Subject, I just know I was always a loner. David, always a loner. You don't feel like you had brothers and sisters? Subject, no. David, so you're a loner and you don't remember who your parents are? Subject, no, I don't remember. David, go to when you were 30. Do you see what you looked like? How do you see yourself? Subject, it was rough. David, it is rough for you to see? Subject, no. I was a rough person. David, how long was your hair then? Subject, it was average. It wasn't long. David, did you have a beard? Subject, yes. David, did you have darker skin? Subject, medium, like an olive. David, you're about 30. How tall were you compared to others? Subject, I would say 5 feet, 10 inches tall. David, so you were tall. Subject, yes. David, taller than most? Subject, yes. David, you don't see much about your earlier years and you feel you were always a loner. You don't remember much of your beginning? Subject, no. I was just there. David, you said you were taught, but you're not sure who taught you. Can you visualize anyone teaching you at all? Anyone? Subject, long pause. David, is there a voice? Does the voice sound more masculine or feminine? Subject, masculine. David, a masculine voice teaching you? Subject, it was a master. It was a master. David, a master, okay. As you're viewing the scene, I want you to feel it and let it flow. You're unlocking old memories, so relax. Things will get clearer and clearer and more memories will come to you. As you're drifting down deeper and deeper, you're beginning to feel the presence of this masculine voice. Was he teaching you about Jesus? Subject, yes. David, did he have other messages, or was it mostly about Jesus and the good work he did? Subject, yes. David, did you feel that he was an Essene? Author's note, the Jewish historian Josephus records that Essenes existed in large numbers, and thousands lived throughout Roman Judea, but they were fewer in number than the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the other two major sects at the time. The Essenes lived in various cities, but there were many nomadic small groups that traveled their entire lives. All congregated in communal life dedicated to voluntary poverty, daily immersion and asceticism. Their priestly class practiced celibacy. Most scholars claim they seceded from the Zadokite priests. The Essenes have gained fame in modern times as a result of the discovery of an extensive group of religious documents known as the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are commonly believed to be the Essenes' library. These documents preserve multiple copies of parts of the Hebrew Bible untouched from possibly as early as 300 BC until their discovery in 1946. Subject, he was a what? David, an Essene. Or was he a Jewish Pharisee or a Sadducee? Author's note, the main difference between the Pharisees and Sadducees concerned the understanding of the function of the Torah in Jewish society. Leaders among the Pharisees were referred to as rabbi, while most of the Sadducees operated as priests and were members of the Sanhedrin. Subject, more like a disciple. David, so he seemed more like a disciple? Subject, yes. David, think back to when you first met him. How old were you when you first came into his presence? Do you remember? Subject, I feel like 20s. David, so in your 20s you might have met him? Subject, yes. David, were you guided to him or did he find you? How did you two meet? Did you hear about him and say, hey, I want to learn from this guy? Subject, I don't know. David, let that go for now. You are in your 20s, you're relaxing and drifting down, allowing yourself to relax even more. Soon you'll start to see a picture of him and get a better idea of how he looked. As you drift down deeper and deeper, allow the memories to come to you. Feel yourself taking in the pictures, and as you drift down, I want you to let the images come to you. As you drift down, you begin to get a feeling of what he looked like, your teacher. Subject: he had a robe, he had a white robe and longer hair. And a beard. David: what color was his hair? Subject: it was brown. David: when he taught you, how old did he look? Subject: I would say he was in his late 40s. David: what was the name of the village? What letter did it start with? Subject: it started with an M. The name of the town was M. David: it was an M. What was the second letter? Do you remember? Subject: ER. David: MER. What else? A. David: MERA. Good. What else? Subject: I don't know. David: so we have Mara. If it comes to you, let me know. I want you to relax. Looking at your teacher. Subject: blurts out I. David: Marai. Any other letters? Subject: mumbling no. David: so Marai. Does that sound right? Subject: yes. That's all I see. That's it. David: that's good. Let's go to your age of 40. You're preaching Jesus' message in this village. There are about 100 people around you and it's hotter than heck. Does that sound about right? Subject: yes. David: let's look at your name. What was your name? Subject: long pause. Micaiah, Mikiah, is coming to me. Author's note: the name Micaiah means who is like God and is of Hebrew origin. David: Micaiah. That's what you hear in your mind? Subject: yes. David: let's float along with that. You feel that you're a loner. Do you see your parents yet? Do you feel you might have known them when you were young? Subject: I don't feel my parents at all. David: let's look at your teacher. You said he was in a white robe. Subject: yes. David: give me an idea what he was like. What was your master's name? Subject: Joseph comes to me, but I don't know. David: if the name comes, let it come. Joseph feels good. Subject: yes. David: good. As you're looking at Joseph, did he know Jesus and the disciples? Did he know them all? Subject: quickly: yes, I think so, because there was a group of them. David: so you feel your master's name was Joseph, and he was teaching you all about Jesus. Is that correct? Subject: yes, I was a religious man for a long time. David: you said you felt Joseph might have known the disciples because there was a group of them. Subject: yes. David: I want you to remember scenes when you were with Joseph and picture those images with light conversation in the background. I want you to recount memories as they come to you, and I'm going to be a casual observer right near you. You are all safe and secure, feeling so happy and relaxed as you recount some of these old memories. As you drift down, I want you to relax even more, allowing the memories to come to you. See your master. Where would he teach you? Subject: in different villages. David: would you follow him around? Subject: no, I would go by myself wherever I was called to go. David: would your master tell you where to go? Subject: nope. I just knew where I had to go. David: do you feel like you were being guided by angels to find these locations, or you intuitively knew? Subject: I just knew. David: you knew the right place to go, right? Subject: yes. David: you mentioned you had been to a couple of other villages. The one you walked to was how far away again? Subject: 10 miles. I walked all the time. David: so you walked everywhere? Subject: yes. I had a staff. David: you see yourself walking along. Did you have sandals on? Subject: yes, leather sandals. David: what else were you wearing? Subject: a robe with a cord. David: did you bring any books with you? Subject: no. David: you spoke right from your heart. Is that correct? Subject: yes. David, you shared the messages of Jesus you learned from your master. Subject, yes. David, you went to different villages preaching, but you never went to one where Jesus was. Is that correct? Subject, I think he had already died. David, I see. So when you were 40, he had already been crucified. Subject, yes. David, let's go to that time when you think he might have been crucified. How did you learn of this? Subject, I just knew he had passed, pause, and that's why I was supposed to preach. David, you knew he had died, and that's why you felt you had to preach. Subject, yes. David, did you know of anyone who went and saw him on the cross? Subject, no. David, so nobody you knew? Subject, no. David, did it come by word of mouth to your village, or how did you know? Subject, I don't remember. David, you're not quite sure how you knew that Jesus had passed away. That's all right. If that comes to you, let me know. I want you to relax more and more, allowing yourself to let go, allowing the images to become even clearer. I want you to see in your mind if there is something new, like a memory that may have meant a lot to you, but not as much to others that you were proud of. Can you think of anything? Subject, no. It's just blank. I don't know. David, that's okay. I want you to visualize a village where you preached. See what develops. Subject, just the one I was preaching at with the woman in the black outfit. David, tell me about her. Subject, she was a loving person, and she knew I was a good person, and that I was teaching, and she had a lot of people who respected her. She told them to quiet down and listen to me. That's when they quieted down. When I was done preaching, I left for home, and that's when I died. David, you said you died on a path? Subject, yes. On a dirt path. David, how far did you get outside the village before you fell over? Subject, I would say 5 miles. David, so you were about halfway home. Subject, yes. David, then bang, you grabbed your heart and fell? Subject, yes. David, you said Jesus came right at your moment of death? Subject, he was up in the corner of my eye in a circle of white and yellow light. He was in the center of it, and I knew it was him. He was there with me, and I went to heaven. I left my body and went to heaven. David, you don't remember seeing yourself coming out of your body? Subject, no, but I knew I was going to heaven with Jesus. David, let's go there. Do you see images of yourself in heaven? How did you know you were there? Subject, I just knew. I just knew. I was at peace. David, what did it look like? Subject, just light. David, real bright light? Subject, just light. I felt light and I didn't feel restricted. I didn't feel heavy. I felt free, floating. David, did you feel the presence of others with you in heaven? Subject, not at that time. David, describe what else you saw. Did Jesus come to you again in heaven? Subject, I don't know, it's just blank. David, you feel you got to heaven, Jesus helped you get there, and then suddenly you lost track of any memories? Subject, yes. David, so you remember feeling that light? Subject, yes. David, how did it feel again? Subject, love. Indescribable love. David, as you drift down, I want you to relax and enjoy those moments. I want you to think back to that woman dressed in black in the village. What was the woman's name who helped you? Subject, I don't know. David, you remember that she was well thought of in the village, and they would listen to her. Subject, yes. David, was she one of the landowners or? Subject, she just was. David, how did she get all her power? Subject, I don't know. I just know I was happy she was there. David, because she helped you out. Subject, yes. They didn't want me there. David, did you think the crowd would get violent? Subject, yes. David, now back then, if they got mad at you, what would they do? Subject, they were going to beat me. David, were they going to throw rocks at you too? Subject, yes. David, you had a chance of getting hurt by them, but she saved you. Subject, yes. David, how long did you speak in front of the crowd? Do you remember? Subject, a while. David, a couple of hours. Subject, no, just a while. Long enough to explain the love of Jesus. David, did that village ever have Jesus come there before you? Subject, I don't know. David, who else at that village might have known about Jesus before you spoke? Anyone? Subject, well, I know she did. David, looking in your mind, do you feel she might have met Jesus at one time? Subject, I think so. David, that's why she felt that way? Subject, yes. She was very religious. David, you feel strongly that this woman in black met Jesus at one time and talked with him? Subject, yes. David, going back and looking at when you passed, you don't remember what happened once you went to heaven? Subject, yes. David, I'm going to count you up from 1 to 5, and each number I count you'll begin to wake up more and more.